Now everything in Razor Pages is folder based and file based. Since there is no model, views or controller, everything becomes quite a lot simpler when it comes to organizing. So the pages is the root by default, and then inside we have our Razor Pages. The default will be index.cshtml. So if I make a request for the index at the root of my application, it would serve me this index.cshtml page. Now, how do you add a new page here? Well, before adding a new page, let me add a new folder, and then we can add all of our pages inside that. So we'll add a new folder called book list, and inside here we'll add our first Razor page. So if you click on add, you see the Razor page, and this is because you have to upgrade your Visual Studio to the latest release that they have. I believe this is more than 17.3, but you can go to new item, and here you can search for Razor page. There we go. Let's call this index.cshtml. Inside this page, let me do h2 and say hello from Razor page. Now let's run our application and see how things look like. Now if we want to access the page that we just created, how would we do that? We need to go back. Let's go back to our project, and if we go to Solution Explorer, you see inside Pages we have a folder called Book List, and inside that we have our index.cshtml. So if we go back here and if we type booklist/index, this should bring our page which says hello from Razor page. And even if we do not write index here, it will still fetch us the same page, because by default it will look for index.cshtml inside the book list folder. So here you can see how easy the routing is. Now you can see that we are displaying this right here, but in an application it is not that you'll always have all the data inside the Razor page. Sometimes you need to do some calculations behind, like you were doing in controller, and pass data, access database, and pass it to the Razor page. So for that, we'll be doing all of that inside the page model. So to access page model inside the index.cshtml, if you expand this, you have index.cshtml.cs, and this will actually be a page model. Now this .cs file will be known as page model. As you can see that the index model is extending the class page model. Now this will be the page model attached specifically to this page. The page knows about the page model, but the page model does not have access to anything on the page. So in a way, it is similar to controller, as it cannot access the view, but it can only pass data to the view. Now pages are more similar to MVVM framework, which stands for model view, view model. And just like we have actions in controller, with Razor pages we have handlers. These handlers get executed when certain request comes in. Like from the name here, you can see that this will be executed when a GET request comes in. Similarly, we have POST handlers, and we can also create other custom handlers. Now let's pass some data from the page model to the Razor page. In a view in MVC controller, you would create a separate model class and set some properties there and pass that to the view model. Or you would use view data. But here we have a much better way to do that. We can just add a property right here. We would type prop tap, and here we'll say string some data. Now inside the get handler, we can set some data is equal to, this is first property. Now in order to access this property inside the Razor page, if we go to our Razor page, we'll just type at model dot some property or some data. Let's save this and let's run our application. And here we'll redirect again to book list. And great, we see this is the first property. So you can see how easy it was to pass our model or properties from the Razor page model to the Razor page.